Welcome back, everyone. Um, I got 4 new Book of Mormon cards to show you. They come out of the Book of Mormon, and they're inspired by Magic the Gathering to be played with Magic the Gathering. It's the same play style, and I thought of this idea on my mission. Sometimes the art is just what I don't know. We'll read it and go over it, and maybe I'll remember what I was thinking. But this one's 2 blue. It's called Inquire. It shows a Native American praying or looking at the stars while they're by a waterfall. And the Book of Mormon leans heavily into this theme. And it has prophecy, activate all prophesy. Look at 2 random cards in target hand. Inquire if they should be discarded or returned. If you do as requested, draw a card. Otherwise, discard them. I wonder if they say that they want it discarded. You do what they say, but you don't get to draw a card. That's interesting. Okay. For he truly spake many great things unto them, which were hard to be understood, save a man should inquire of the Lord. And they being hard in their hearts, therefore they did not look unto the Lord as they ought. And this is kind of fun because it's showing this Native American, it looks like a Native American woman, and she is inquiring of the Lord, or she's praying. And I have that theory that I went over in the Book of Ether, where I think a lot of the people known as the Lamanites were already there. And the Lord tells Nephi in a vision that he's being, in the vision he sees the last battle of one group versus another group. I'm wording it that way on purpose. Just because we have information doesn't mean that we have the answers. And we have lots of true information. I believe the Book of Mormon is true. And I still ponder on it and wonder what that could mean. So Nephi sees in vision of the future, and he asks, who are we fighting? And there's already an assumption. This is thousands of years into the future. Who is Nephi's people in this vision? And who are the Lamanites? And the angel says you're fighting against your brethren. And then the idea is that he knows, which he has information given to him, that the Native Americans who are already living in the land when the Nephites show up were his brethren from Laman and Lemuel. Or at least his people thought that. I don't know if Nephi ever taught that or said that to anybody. So I'm making assumptions that Nephi was making assumptions, but I do know that in the narrative of the Book of Mormon, the people of Nephi thought that they were fighting against the Lamanites, but I don't think they were. I think they were fighting against the Jaredites. And if that's right, then there's some things there to look at, especially this vision with Nephi and who the Native Americans are, and so on and so forth. I'm not discounting anything. I'm re-looking and re-evaluating. So we'll go on to the next one. The Liahona. On that last one, I guess I'll just share that when Nephi saw a people that looked like him and a people that looked like somebody else, I'm assuming that he thought the people that looked like him were his own people. That's a common assumption anybody might make. But I'm actually, through studying that Jacob sent missionaries to the Lamanites, and if those missionaries were of the direct line of Nephi, and we have Moroni, whose name is a Jaredite name, and Mormon, whose name is a Jaredite name, then in that vision, Nephi could have saw the group of two people fighting against each other. But the Nephites who looked like him were actually not of his direct lineage. He might have married into the Jaredite line, and his direct line might have been the other people. I just find that very, very fascinating and very interesting. And I'll never have an answer to that. I know God will, and I can pray and think about these things, but I will never know that. That's impossible for me to know that. But I have considered them. So here we go with Liahona. 4 mana, legendary artifact. This one was fun for me. In fact, there's a big temptation starting out this project. A huge temptation to just go and make the coolest ones possible. And this is one of the coolest ones possible. I don't remember what it does. I just know that the Liahona is awesome for the Magic the Gathering setting because it is a legendary artifact in our mythos that does incredible things that we know very little about. And that's more along the line of we have true information, but we have a lot more questions than we have answers. And that's okay because the Book of Mormon's main theme, and I love that this is okay, because the main theme of the Book of Mormon is that to teach people to pray and ask God. And if we learn how to pray and ask God, and we can find Him and hear His voice and learn from Him, as the Book of Mormon says, we can know the truth of all things. So we can know things if God reveals them. The pointers which were in the ball, that they did work according to the faith and diligence and heed which we did give unto them. That's incredible. When a player discards, you may draw. That's all it does. That's pretty neat. That's very neat. But it's not as neat as the scripture. That is awesome. And that's another thing. We always say we want to testify the Book of Mormon. We want to tell everybody it's true, to point them to Jesus Christ. There's a lot of cool things in the Book of Mormon. Jesus Christ is the coolest thing. And to say that the Liahona, I mean, it's in the scriptures. And however this thing is working, Christ has something to do with this. So I don't know how, but Jesus Christ is also a part of this artifact, and He's a part of the principle of how it works, and many, many other things I can't even think of. It's just very interesting to me. And I think we did this one already. We'll do it real quick. There's a deacon, 3 mana value, also showing Native Americans. Which, with my studies, I'm starting to wonder if they were more related to Nephi in the future than Laman and Lemuel. Word 2, add 1 blue mana when Deacon attacks. So it's a mana generator upon attack. So he's not that good. He's a 1/2. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is where he struggles. And if you were to play this card and made him work, that'd be fun for me to see, because I think this is a neat mechanic. And you would have to give him support. Like, you would be building a card where he would need support. And they thirsted not. He led them through the deserts and caused the waters to flow out of the rocks for them. He clave the rock also, and waters gushed out. 1 Nephi 20:21. This one was supposed to be a Polynesian islander. which is I find very fitting for Magic the Gathering. He's a 2. And then blue, which for Magic the Gathering, how to use a blue mana is to have an island card. So you'd have a card that would have a picture of an island on it. And I find this also very interesting because I think that the Jaredites owned the route over into China from Canada. And they went down to South America. And they owned up and down the coast over into the other side. And I think they found Hawaii. I know a lot of people think it's Haygoth. I know a lot of general authorities may have said that. And that's very hard for me not to give a shout out. But when doing my research based off of an idea and the DNA and seeing how that they're there and that their DNA fits what could be considered Jaredite DNA, it's hard to say that maybe Haygoth did go over there. But I think the originals were more akin to who the Jaredites were. And for those who might be watching this and don't know anything about any of this, Haygoth is a Nephite sailor during the time which a Nephite and someone who was once a Lamanite could very closely be related. I think that their people intermarried, especially during the days of, just after the days of Jacob. He sent missionaries that way. That's early on. And I think Moroni is a Jaredite name, but he declares a lineage directly tied to Lehi and Nephi. So they obviously are Nephites with Jaredite names. So I think that whoever the women are that they married, if they're claiming Nephi as the dad, somebody along the line is a Jaredite. I don't know why anyone would name anybody after the King Moron of the Book of Ether. He was a bad guy. Ether's grandfather, mind you, but that doesn't make any sense. So this timeline actually bridges the gap of those weird logical leaps. So the timeline I have for Jacob is predating King Moron in the Book of Ether. So during the days of Jacob, he says he sends missionaries to try to reclaim the Lamanites. And if it's during the days of the Jaredites in their strongest times, then they would have seen a very, very powerful people. And I don't even think they saw all of it. Maybe some of them did, and that's why some of them dissented. Because they would have saw how strong the Jaredites were and how small and struggling the Nephites were in comparison to them. But as we can read throughout the scriptures, the Lord blessed the land of Nephi, and they blessed Mosiah to escape the destruction, and then they blessed Zarahemla. So the Lord, when the Lord's on your side and you don't give up, even though you're surrounded on all sides, I think the Lord will find a way to keep His promises for you. It's always funny because they say it's the promised land for the Nephites, and they have almost non-stop fighting all the time. So it's kind of like, well, thanks. I mean, this is a really nice promised land, but maybe the Lord wanted to toughen them up. Maybe it was part of the package deal. You come here, you live, it's beautiful land. Every now and then, though, you're going to have to fight. I don't pretend to understand even a little bit of that, but it's there, and we can read about it. So let's review this. So he's a 3 mana, but he's a 4/4. That alone is very good by itself. When Islander is played, create a food token. Also very good. Not the greatest, but yeah, this is good. And again, hearken, O ye house of Israel, all ye that are broken off and are driven out because of the wickedness of the pastors of my people. Yea, all ye that are broken off, that are scattered abroad, who are of my people, O house of Israel. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from afar. The Lord hath called me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother's hath he made mention of my name. 1 Nephi 21:1. Thanks for watching.